How would you feel if you went to work this morning and there's a soldier on top of Macy's walking back and forth with the order that if you step out of the line, shoot to kill? That's not right. And these are some of the things that King had spoke of before he was killed.
I'm so excited because on January the 20th, we're going to have a community breakfast for our annual Martin Luther King Day Celebration. And we have the community people here. We also have people from the Jewish United Fund. And it's just a time to fellowship and to talk about the great things that occurred when Dr. King was here and the things that we continue to do to spark up some energy about unity and equality.
We've been doing this for the last 5 years, and the main purpose of that breakfast is to not only feed the community, but to engage the community in conversations about their living here. And not just the present community, but the past community. That's why we partnered with the Jewish United Federation. They bring members down. They used to live in North Lawndale, so it's a very exciting breakfast that we have.
And what restorative justice is about is seeing your humanity in even that person who has committed that thing for which you believe you would never do. They're still human. They're still like you. They still have the power of redemption.
Our main focus this year is restorative justice, and being mindful that every year we choose a topic from how Dr. King felt about his life and about how he felt about his people. One year we did, Am I My Brother's Keeper? This year is restorative justice, because there's so many things in the city of Chicago that is not, I want to say, equal.
The first time Dr. King actually came to Stone Temple was in 1959. He was welcomed here by Reverend J.M. Stone, who was the founding pastor, to speak.
Reverend Stone was the only pastor that said, "Come to my pulpit." When the past mayor was threatening the pastors in the city, but Reverend Stone said, "My doors are open to you, Pastor Reverend King."
Of course, he was still operating at that time with his civil rights, but in the 60s is when he came to really set a foundation that he was working for African Americans and anyone who was suffering from inequalities, racism, poor housing, or being locked out of certain neighborhoods because of your race, and the injustices in education and in social environments.
So he stayed here for about 3 months, I believe, the time that he was here. He lived in the squandered conditions right around the corner there that the people were living in. It was a hope, if you will. Somebody's going to speak up to the system and say, this is not right. And those slumlords that were here at that time doing those things, they actually, all that started doing contract buying that led up to him coming here.
The marches and the rallies that took place, although some of them were very peaceful, it appeared to some people that they were not effective. However, I recall in my studies that at some point Dr. King received a notice from the mayor in saying, okay, let's meet when the Freedom Festival took place. Let's kind of talk about this, because he realized that people were really rallying together and they were no longer going to just accept the status quo. I can recall listening to some of the seniors here talk about the times when Dr. King was here, how people were so crowded in the church that they had to sneak him through the back door just to get him in, because people were so ready and available for what was happening at the present time, and they wanted to be a part of change.
I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
When Dr. King was killed, and that he was, this neighborhood went through a huge transition because he had lived here. If your leader is killed, a man that believes in you, a man that speaks up for you, there's going to be some disarrayment. There's going to be some fighting. A lot of the people that came in and started those riots didn't even live in North Lawndale. I've always been a person that believed in community, and to see your community burn up, and then for the city of Chicago to come behind and say, you don't need anything. That's where these vacant lots came from. Demolition of buildings. I believe the mayor said that they'll fix it up, board it up, or tear it down. Some of the black businesses, and we had a lot of black businesses in this community during that time too. A lot of people don't realize that, but we did. They couldn't afford to rebuild. There was no neighborhood opportunity grant and things like that happening back then.
We want North Lawndale to be a hub for the celebration of Dr. King's Day. In so much as when people come to North Lawndale on Dr. King's Day, there's at least 10 places that they can go and hear history and see celebrations and learn about the roots that were planted here by Dr. King, the roots that are still growing, the people who remember and are not tired of talking about the things that were accomplished because he came to North Lawndale. And I'm just believing, I'm hopeful, I just have this passion that when people come here on that day, that they leave here being invigorated and infused to do more and not to just let it be a one-day event.
The North Lawndale community has been struggling for so many years. And now with the media, good and bad, we are being looked at as a community that's rebuilding itself, and that's exactly what we're doing.